Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, building relationships, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest has become a very dear friend with a heart of gold and inspiration on our own journey. Back again to share her feminine wisdom with us today is the ever beautiful Susan Gala. Welcome back to the table, Susan.
Thank you. So honored to be here with you lovely ladies.
Oh,
Lots of smiles and charm and beauty and wisdom and energy.
Got very excited today when I woke up, I already had my outfit picked out. I'm like, I know what I'm wearing for Susan's podcast. Let's go. It's going to be a great day today. We're very full today and very blessed today. And we're so glad that you're here with us. For people that don't know who you are, could you just give a couple of sentences about kind of what you're doing,
what your business is?
Sure, absolutely. I am a feminine wisdom teacher, and I help women unveil their magic and their creativity that lives within their wombs. And when I say that, we're talking about the entire female body to help nourish it physically, energetically, spiritually.
So beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
I know that both Charlie and I have learned a lot from you in the short time that we've known you, and you just share such beautiful wisdom about connecting to who we are as women and really understanding our own energies. And I love
how
it.
to take care of ourselves better.
Yes.
And it being Personal Self-Care Week, and skip the small talk. We are going to skip the small talk today, and we are going to get into some personal self-care. Susan's going to teach us a few things, because there's so much about our bodies as women that was
we don't
shameful.
talk about it.
We don't talk about it. I don't think I was ever taught how to properly care for my feminine body. I
would just get kind of handed things and told, use this. That's it. That was all I would use this. That's it. That's the conversation. That's not a conversation. No. That's not a conversation. So Susan, I know you were not going to say, here, use this and walk away. So,
but I know you have a beautiful self-care ritual that you would like to share with everybody today. So I'll let you go get into it.
Yes. Okay. So maybe you're curious right now of, why do I wear a rose? Well, I love roses, and I'm taking pictures of roses all the time. In so many ways, it symbolizes who we are as females, because there's one sacred temple in our body that should be honored and nurtured. And first of all, what I'd like to say is, your body is something that you are living inside of. It's your sacred home. Just like any relationship that we have with nature, our friends, our family, children, your female body needs love, nurturing, nourishing, rest, and creativity. It needs to be honored with the rhythms of life, the stages of life, the rhythms of nature, and trust in its own inner wisdom. So today, I'd like to take you on a journey of ancient rituals that were used many years ago. But first of all, I'd like to say, if any of you have ever experienced my moon circles, in a moon circle, we sit together, and in the center, an altar is created. It's created for what is going on, what energy is coming up during that month. But the the altar always has 5 elements in it. And it has candles and flowers, or maybe it just has leaves. But there are symbols of the elements of nature. And in that circle, Every woman in that circle has their own inner wisdom or own story that can be spoken or healed in that circle. And the circles are so loving, kind, non-judgmental, honoring ourselves, but I teach the circles to also honor our ancestors from yesteryears, because our ancestors sat in circles. They honored each woman in circle. They prayed together, they danced together, they cried together, they told stories together, they bled together. They supported one another when other women in the circle were going through heartache, or other women in the circle were going through labor and helping during postpartum or prenatal or surgeries or injuries or traumas. What I'm going to teach you today is how you can nourish your own Yoni temple. And this rose symbolizes your Yoni, because your Yoni looks like a flower. Yoni, the word Y-O-N-I, is not something I made up. It is Sanskrit for vulva or vagina. Yoni sounds so sacred, so spiritual, and so feminine. It's something I think that we could add to our vocabulary because it's more accepted, I think, in our culture. So today, let's talk about this old ancient ritual that I brought into modern times, which is called the Yoni steam.
I'm looking forward to learning this.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. It's a healing sacred ritual that was used in Mayan cultures, in Korean cultures, in China, and basically overseas. Americans are now practicing it, which is very exciting to me. This can be used at any time, except there are contraindications. You don't practice it when you're bleeding. You don't practice it when you're pregnant. You don't practice it if you had surgery. You don't practice it if you have piercings down there. You don't practice it if you have STDs, but it's a wonderful ritual to practice to help soften your root muscles, nourish your root muscles, to help clear energy, to help ease pain, help clear trauma. It's something that I practice during the new moon and full moon. I usually do it 3 days and 3 days, or just 1 day and 1 day, a day before, a day during the new moon, a full moon, and the day after. It puts you into a tranquil meditation. It actually allows your body to soften into this medicinal herbal steam. So it is a combination of, I don't know if you can see this.
Put it in front of you.
Okay.
If you put it in front
Or
of
put
you.
your hand behind it.
Or your,
Okay,
yeah,
so
there we go.
there we go.
Different herbs. Okay. So the herbs are dried herbs. And in my little concoction, I use mugwort, I use yarrow, I use calendula, and there are rose petals in here. And what I do is, just like you steep tea leaves, you steep a half a cup of dried herbs in a pot, like about a quart. Let it steam like you would steeping tea. Turn off the heat underneath it, the fire underneath it. Let it soothe a little bit, let it calm down. Then drain most of the water out. You still want to have, what's that, about 4 cups? Yeah, about 4 cups of water with the herbs in it. And you put that in a pail or a ceramic bowl. Okay, this is the easiest way for you to do it without buying temple seat or a specialized chair. You're going to take this bowl to your toilet and put it in the toilet. Put the seat down and you sit yourself on it naked. Put a big robe over yourself and a robe over and a towel, long towel over your legs to keep the steam inside. Before you sit on it, I need you to test the steam. Because if it's in your pail or in your ceramic bowl, I need you to put your forearm on top of it. If your forearm feels really hot, it's too hot to sit on. That pail needs to be a good 10 inches between your yoni and the pail. So you're not going to be sitting so close to it. And there's plenty of room in your toilet, at least 10 inches, I think, between your seat, your yoni, right, down to where the bowl would be. Now, the way I sit, I'd like to just open my legs up in a V. So I allow more steam to flow inside me and nourish me. But keep the steam inside of you. That's why I have the towel on me and I wrap the towel around my legs. I sit there for 20 minutes. So if you are in your bathroom, you don't want to have the light on. If it's safe for you to light candles, light candles. If candles are not safe, I understand that. Use the LED candles.
The little battery ones. I love those.
The little battery candles, yes. And you could sage your bathroom first before you go in there.
Make it like your own little spa retreat.
Your own little spa, yeah. And light incense. So you're only going to be sitting on this for about 20 minutes. After you get up, you're going to feel very zen. Very, very relaxed, very nourished. You're going to feel like your root muscles have actually melted and softened.
Wow.
From the medicinal herbs. Yeah, it smells amazing. And then what I'd like you to do is just rest. Go to your bed. You don't even have to go underneath the covers, but if you need to, go ahead. You want to stay warm and just rest a little bit. Okay. Our root muscles are the most absorptive muscles in our human body.
Wow.
So that's why they get nourished very easily. And it's so important just to clean ourselves out and out of some of the energies that we carry with us. Maybe we've been carrying energy from our ancestors. Maybe we're still carrying energy from our mothers. Maybe we're still carrying energy from trauma. And when I say trauma, we all know it's different types of traumas, right? It could be trauma from surgeries. It could be trauma, a traumatic childbirth. It could be environmental trauma. It could, and what I mean by that is the floods, the hurricanes, the tornadoes. It could be right now, the trauma that we've been living in for the past few years, right?
Especially as women in our families, we hold that for all of our family.
Yes,
right?
we
And
do.
so if we're not processing that out, we're just holding on to it.
We keep on holding on to it. Yes. And we hold trauma from different stages of life. We're females. It's been birthed in us and birthed out of us, depending on if our ancestors healed it. It's in our DNA. It's in the embryonic fluid when we were in the womb. If our ancestors didn't heal it, we carry it with us. We are the ones to heal this collective energy right now. And we really are the ones, because there are so many of us that are bringing these ideas and different ways of ancient wisdom, womb wisdom, this old wisdom and rituals back into society right now.
Mhm. I saw an interesting article or graphic or something somewhere that basically showed how the cells of your child
Mm,
were once the same cells that belonged to their grandmother.
Yes.
yep.
The same ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So,
Yes.
you know,
Isn't that cool?
we,
It's mind blowing.
you know, those
Yes.
cells lived through that person's life, through
Right.
the next person's life,
Right.
through your life, and then your going into your child.
Right.
So everything that they
Right.
went through
Yeah.
gets carried on.
That's
in
what
those-
we're
Yes.
that's what we mean when we talk about generational
Right.
trauma.
It's generational. Yes.
Like it
And
keeps getting passed down, and that's why it's perpetuated, right?
Mhm,
yes. And how beautiful is it that now we have a voice?
mhm,
Mhm.
We're not, there are a lot of us that we're not going to be silenced anymore.
mhm.
Yes.
You know, yeah, we're not going to silence ourselves. I mean, this is real. And why do we want our children living like this? Right?
Right.
We really don't. And what I was just talking about, these ancient rituals and the work that I do, this is something that you could talk to your teenagers about. If you have females that are teenagers,
Mhm.
it's something that they didn't, our mothers didn't teach us this.
No.
No, we were like, here, use these things. Don't
That's
even
what
know
I
what they
was taught.
are.
Yeah.
That's that. Yes.
Yeah, that's
I was
exactly
given a
what we were.
brown paper bag.
Right.
Go
Right?
into the bathroom, read this book, and you'll understand what to do. And I had 3 older sisters, and they never said anything to me.
Wow.
They never taught me. And to this day, they still won't speak to me about it. Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that weird? This is some, you know,
Yeah.
these are all things that naturally occur within our bodies. And we were taught that those, you know, by not talking about it, by not sharing the knowledge of how to properly care for ourselves,
Yeah.
then we don't learn how to do it properly.
Right. We don't.
Because
we
it's
hurt
Right.
like some
ourselves.
kind of
We burn
shame.
our you know, like you read about this thing and you want to try it, and the next thing you know, you're sitting 5 inches away, and ow.
Yeah. Now it's just like, yeah, it's like what I explained earlier.
Mhm.
If that steam is too hot on your forearm, you do not. And as you go to approach it and you sit down and you say, oh, it's still too hot. Wait.
Trust your body's response.
Trust your body's response and really sense it in your mind and intuition.
Mhm.
You don't want to burn yourself.
Mhm.
So the safest way is to do it the way that I told you to do it,
Yeah.
because you could just get off the toilet seat or get back on the toilet seat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you're in your bathroom, so it's okay to be disrobed. You know, you're like, you can lock the door. It's a safe spot.
Exactly.
For most
Exactly.
people. I have personally have some trauma that occurred in the bathroom, and so I've had to work through that. So I think that this would be a really great way to help reclaim that space as a safe place.
Yes.
To
Well,
sage it and have
I was
this-
just going to say that. Yes, what you could do before you even, like, say you plan on doing the steam in a couple of weeks from now, start saging your bathroom.
right.
Like every day, just start saging it. Do you have a window in your bathroom?
I don't.
You don't? That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't either. But no, sage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a flower in there also.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, maybe you were in one of my moon circles when I suggested this. Take a bowl of water during the full moon, let the moon lunarize the water. You can put it outside now because it's beautiful out, right?
Mhm.
During the full moon, put that bowl of water under the full moon, let it lunarize overnight during the full moon. Next day, cut a flower and put the flower in the lunarized water.
Yeah.
And then put that bowl in the bathroom.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I liked making moon water with you. It was so
Okay.
cool.
So when we were in that moon circle and you just kind of briefly touched on these the Yoni steam, I was like, oh, I need to learn some more about this because I'm almost 40, and up to this point I had never learned how I've never heard of a yoni steam. You know, what is a yoni? Oh, my yoni is my root center. Okay, now that I've done yoga, I understand what that is. And these are all things that I should have learned at least 20 years ago. You know, as a young woman coming up into their fertile, like
And if
the
you
fertile ground. Yes.
start it when you are a teenager, when you do come into your own, right? Like when things start happening, that's when you want to be cleansing, right? Is that, would you say that that's when you should start?
Yes,
If you like, ideally, if we could go back and if we were to be moms, you know, of young teenage girls or preteens, we would want to start doing this to make it normal, right?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you had said that, because there's something that's really important. So we're this beautiful teenage woman and our hormones are really
out there,
blooming, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I love it.
They're really blooming, and we're starting to feel sensations in our body. And then you decide to have that conversation, that intimate conversation with your daughters. And it's real important because there are so many teenagers that are sexually active. But what I wanted to mention about the yoni steam is that when females are sexually active, we hold on to that energy of what comes into us. Yoni steam is great to help clear the energy, because that energy could stay with us for about 7 years. So we want to nourish our body and help clear in some of that energy.
Wow. 7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
Cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And I think it's amazing that we're just, I feel like we're just beginning to understand how things that happen to us or even to our ancestors affect us on the more long term, you know.
Yes.
Even, let's say, a one-night stand. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we hold that energy with us for up to 7 years. And then if we do something like the yoni steam, then that helps clear that energy out.
Yes.
A little better.
That helps
us. Yes, it does. It does. And, you know, since we're talking about teenagers and then going into our later years, into your 40s, late 40s, perimenopause, and then menopause, it's also, I mean, it's amazing throughout your entire life from teenager on into being a wise woman. But when you become a little bit older in years, and now you're maybe in menopause, things happen in menopause to our root muscles. Okay, but it could happen anytime in a female body, depending on foods that we eat, medications that we take, surgeries that we've had, or maybe if some women have cysts or endometriosis or have had tumors or have had a hysterectomy. And I will say, if a woman has had a hysterectomy, she still is energetically alive in her root. That energy doesn't go away. But so I'm talking about the hormonal changes throughout later years of life. Yoni steam is amazing because sometimes we have a loss of feeling sexual or feeling alive again, or we feel that our muscles became very tight, or we're starting to get or experience painful sex. This again soothes the muscles and softens the muscles. How great is it well, we don't put that inside of our body, but to use and experience something that is sacred and natural instead of sticking something up in our body that we don't even know how to pronounce the ingredients of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
talking about all these lubricants.
Mhm.
Sometimes I go into stores and I look at them and I said, I can't even pronounce what's in it except water.
Right.
I got water at home. I made it in the moon, but
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
yeah. So
I
that's
like-
one indication is if you can't pronounce the ingredients of a product, try not to use it.
That is a really good advice.
I have actually gone to making my own personal lubricant. And
Mhm.
it's coconut oil, cocoa butter, and like shea butter. I mix some of those a little bit of beeswax in there too. And I have not had a single yeast infection or any adverse reactions or anything from those natural ingredients.
Yeah.
No, and that's perfect because I had learned a long time ago in New York City, there's this amazing holistic gynecologist that I actually studied with.
Mhm.
Oh,
And I
cool.
said, so what can women really use instead of using lubricants? And she says, coconut oil.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And another thing that I changed up a few years ago that I wish I knew about way longer before that is instead of using pads and tampons, I now use what's called a diva cup.
Yes.
And it's a silicone cup. And I am a heavy flow girl, right? I am a heavy flow girl. When I wore pads and tampons, I would wear like the overnight pad with the extra super tampon
All together.
and I would sneeze and everything would be gone, right? And I was just a heavy flow girl. And this Diva Cup, I have not had a single leak in the
Not
several years
That's awesome.
that I've been using it. And
Yeah.
I can wear it when I'm swimming, when I'm doing yoga,
Yeah.
right? Any of those stuff.
Yeah. That's
Because
great.
if you've ever tried to do yoga with a tampon in,
Ouch.
no.
And
It
as
doesn't work so
somebody
well.
that's prone to TSS, the toxic shock,
Mhm.
I really learned how sensitive I am to all the chemicals they put in these products.
Mhm.
Like they're not
Yeah.
a natural product. Like I
Right.
think the last few, I'm in early menopause. So, and I've had an ovary removed and my body had a hard time there for a while. So we're just glad we're still here. And I think the last few times I just kind of like sat on a towel and let it flow. Like I was like, this needs to come out. Like I don't.
I'm
I
so
was like,
glad. Yes.
because I was just like, what did our ancient ladies do? Like
You just said it. I was going
Yeah.
to say that.
yeah.
That's what they did. And you know what's really interesting? There are a certain amount of young women right now that are actually sitting down in nature and just letting the blood flow out.
Mhm.
Oh, see, that would be so healing and relaxing, I think.
Yes.
To
Yes.
sit out, like I could think I'm envisioning, like seeing your trees behind you. I'm envisioning like literally my favorite place to go camping, and like that would be so awesome to just to sit by the river and just sit there. Maybe.
Yes. And I did forget to tell you something. When you are finished steaming, what you should experience is taking these herbs, drain the water out, and you bury it into the earth. Let it go back to earth instead of throwing them out. It's just a ritual.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you're kind of like giving the energy back to the earth. It's like
Yes.
that connection.
Mhm.
Back to the great womb, Mother
Now
Earth.
you live in a more rural area. What do you do in a rural area to give it back to earth? Do you have
Well, it's really not rural. I have a park right across the street from me. So I'm walking in the parks all the time and I have a bag with me.
Mhm.
and I just empty it into the trees or the flowers.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's
just
like
trees and
compost.
flowers.
To me, it's like compost. I put it in the compost.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think everyone has access to some sort of living thing, no matter what city you're living in. Like there's
Yes, yeah.
planters and
Yes.
things,
Dirt.
Yeah.
Go find
dirt
some
around
dirt.
you, like no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
We live in the
Absolutely.
middle of the woods, but not everybody does. So.
See,
Right.
that's beautiful though. So you get to experience a lot of energy living in the woods.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sounds, the smells.
It's been so nice the last week or so. We've been able to sit outside in the morning and have our morning conversation and a cup of coffee
Mhm.
and just be outside
With the
it's
birds.
no coats and jackets or freezing. You know, like, it's
Yeah.
just nice. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I often
Susan.
wonder, walking through the parks, do you ever wonder what are the birds talking or singing about right now?
Oh, I love to watch the birds. Absolutely. I do go there.
And
Yeah.
if you've ever been, if you ever have the opportunity to have a cup of coffee and watch the sunrise, the birds get really loud about halfway through sunrise.
Yeah. So you know that it's sunrise.
It's sunrise.
They're awake now.
It's that time of year that I sleep with my windows cracked open and the birds get really loud sometimes. But I love it and it's amazing. And
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
so beautiful. So make sure you guys go out and get some vitamin D and sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And
good.
plan to take care of your Yoni.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is this? Like, this is
Susan, I don't have my calendar with me today. When is our next full moon? Like, when's our next moon cycle?
It's like in another. Oh, I turned my phone off. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
We in a couple
understand.
weeks.
Today's the 8th.
I think
So
that
it's around the 20. Let me see.
20th-ish.
Sorry.
it's all good.
So
feel you.
Again, this ritual's done like the day before, day of, day after.
You do it new moon and
Yes.
full moon.
New
is
moon
that
and
I
correct?
do. Yes. Yes.
Mhm. And if you guys haven't checked out Susan's Moon Goddess gatherings, they are amazing. You would be surprised at how connected you feel with the other women, I'm going to say in the room, even virtually.
Even virtually. It's
Even
really
virtually.
amazing.
It really is.
It's absolutely amazing.
To be part of that circle.
It's
when
actually,
we're together.
it's the end of next week.
Oh, so we have time to get our ingredients together and get
That's
ready for that.
exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing all this wonderful feminine wisdom with us today and teaching us how to take care of our yonis, our roots,
Yes.
our root energy so that we can just be
the best way. I mean, just it's like one more tool to show up and take care of ourselves better, show up for ourselves. But then when we're showing up for ourselves, it's amazing what happens in our community. So I hope that for everybody that you can start to see that change, that the more you're showing up and taking care of yourself, the ripple effect around you.
Absolutely.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Susan.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we have a couple of announcements. Let's see. First, cause of the quarter.
Boogie Bin.
Boogie.
Check them out. Drop off your gently used or new pet donations to help support a wonderful cause. And if you don't have a Boogie Bin near you, donate to your local shelter.
Collect, deliver, repeat. And we would like to thank today's sponsor, Lorelei Shimeo with MeWe Fairs. MeWe Fairs hosts metaphysical and wellness events online and in person in the Pacific Northwest. And they have fairs coming up locally, June 11th and 12th. That's next weekend. Oh my goodness.
In Linwood.
And in July, there'll be in Anacortes the 16th and 17th, which is Shipwreck Days.
It is Shipwreck Days.
Shipwreck Day.
Shipwreck Day. If you would like more information, check out jointhefair.com or any of the links in the comments or the description.
Yeah, and there's usually weekly online things, and it's really cool. It's really neat. Season 4 is now open for booking, advertising, shout outs, and being honored guests at the table. So go ahead and hit up our empowerment menu on the website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com.
And we can't wait to see you all at the networking meeting this evening. If you are local, go ahead and check out our events page and check that out. We'll see you.
Yeah. As always, thank you for joining us on the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast.
We're making everything match.
we're getting there. So bear with us as we get the changeover. But thank you for joining us. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We love the space that we're in so much, and we look forward to connecting with you.
Download the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Mwah.